Assalamu alaikum, Jim.
That's
Okay, inshallah, just we're gonna have a short video. Just gonna ask you a few questions about Islam. Why don't you tell everyone your full name?
my full English name is Jim Hyde,
What's
but
your Muslim name?
Waseem.
Waseem. Sweet. How long have you been Muslim for?
I'll be a Muslim for 2 years now, at July the 4th.
Alhamdulillah. And how do you like Islam?
Like, before I was Muslim, I didn't really know, I didn't really realize what this world is all about, like now, I just know it's just a big test for me, and, like, before, a lot of people always ask the big question, like, what's the purpose of life, and the purpose of life is to worship Allah. So as soon as I figured that out after a while, I'm like, wow, so that's what we're supposed to do in this world. So this world's a lot more easier on me. I know I see things more clearly. I see things that people don't see about this dunya or this world.
Okay, if you were to give some advice to some of the people, interested in Islam, maybe studying Islam, what would you say to them?
Just take it slowly. Don't overdo it. Just read. Just go to some good Muslim brothers that are very knowledgeable. They're very humble too. And if you're reading books, find out if the author is legitimate. You don't want to read some bad person. And you shouldn't go on YouTube. Because there's a lot of bad things there.
So don't take your deen from YouTube, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you can look at
Yeah.
the videos, the good one, whatever, but don't
Yeah.
learn Islam from YouTube.
Because the internet, it's junk media. You
Right.
can't really learn a lot, but if you learn from the book, that's the best kind of knowledge you can get.
Or from a teacher.
Yeah, or from the teacher.
Okay, what about, what would you say that was your hardest challenge in Islam since you became Muslim? What was the toughest, challenge that you had to deal with?
Probably my parents, because they aren't Muslim and everything, and just trying to give them dawah without them yelling at me. They do yell at me, but I don't yell at them. So that's the hardest part, just confronting my family. They're always like opposing Islam, and I always have to defend it all the time. Just trying to convey the message properly, that's a hard thing too, without like yelling at them or anything, or saying anything wrong. Like, if I yell at them, that's not being Muslim, because you're supposed to treat other people that you would want to be treated. It doesn't matter who they are really, because if you show them respect and love, maybe they'll come to Islam one day, because they'll say, wow, this person was a good person. I wonder why, like, wasn't he Muslim? And then he's like, yeah. Then maybe they'll study it and see why this changed this person.
Hmm. Any other thoughts or khawatir to any of the brothers or sisters?
Just seek knowledge. That's the biggest thing you should have. And, without knowledge, you can't worship properly. Like if you just say a surah without knowing what it is, it's useless. It won't go into your heart. So your knowledge is the number one thing you should learn.
How do you think that, being a practicing Muslim, do you think it's hard in the society, living in the West? Do you think it's hard to practice Islam, especially being a new Muslim? Do you find that, people look at you differently, or, they act differently with you, knowing that, do they think you're a traitor or something, that you became Muslim? And how do you
Yeah,
find
I think that's what they do, because my dad's like, I didn't raise a Muslim, he's always against it and everything, and
What were you raised as?
really nothing. My
Okay.
parents used to go to church and everything, and they stopped practicing, and I got baptized. I think I'm a Catholic. I'm not really sure.
You were a Catholic.
I was. I didn't practice at all.
Right.
I didn't read the Bible or anything.
Mm.
But
Right. So do you find it hard though? Like, do you think
Yeah.
that people look at you differently, or your friends? Did you tell your friends that you're Muslim?
I don't think so, but I stopped talking to them.
Hmm.
So they were kind of losers anyway. I don't want to say that, but they weren't they weren't helping me in my life. So
A
I'll just leave
very,
it at that. They weren't helping me.
a very honest opinion on that.
But like like because I'm white, most people don't know I'm Muslim. They think I'm just some guy. But as soon as I put a piece of cloth on my head, you know, I get strange looks everywhere. It takes a lot of guts, to put that on, because they'll be like, "Who's that guy?" Who's doing that? He's all around us.
Okay, so.
But I find it really respectful for new sisters to put on a hijab, after 20 years, 25 years of not putting that on,
Uh-huh.
and putting that on and getting weird looks. It
Right.
takes a lot of courage for a sister to do that.
For sure. So did you find it like hard to break away from your friends? Do you find they were pulling you back, or or what was it?
It's
They-
pretty
they-
easy, actually.
It
I
was
just
easy.
stopped talking to them, 'cause they're into stuff that wasn't benefiting me at all.
Alright.
So I have non-Muslim friends too. I just try to show them a good example. Just just say how good of a person they are. Just bring out the best in them,
Mhm.
and I try to act the best towards other people in front of them,
Right.
and show them how Muslims should act.
Mm.
Or the best way a Muslim can act. I'm not the perfect Muslim, but I try to act the best way I can, so
Right.
people can see it.
Inshallah. Okay. Any last words?
I think
All right.
I did a good job.
Okay. Do you have a joke to tell everyone?
You want to hear a joke?
Yeah. Cause
Like
you're,
just a joke.
cause you're funny, but a good one. Halal joke.
Okay, it's a pretty bad joke, right?
Halal.
It's halal, man.
Okay.
Okay, why did the turtle cross the road?
I don't know.
To get to the Shell station.
To get to the what?
Shell station because that's a Shell cross.
Okay, brother. Waseem, Jazakallah. Assalamu alaikum.